Hello, and welcome to Taxpayer Alert. I'm Al Segalla. I'm president of the Calaveras County Taxpayer Association, and I'll also be your moderator. We're going to give you some websites information, so you want to have a pencil and pen. Now, our guest this evening is Mike Lemke, who's a developer. Mike, welcome.
Hello, Al. Good to see you again.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm local. Family had a good gold rush history run here for a few generations. You know, we've gone back and forth different parts of California, but I've been here on a few different ventures. Built my first few homes up Highway 4, Big Trees, and Blue Lake Springs, and then eventually in other parts of the community and expanded out to Tuolumne County. At the ripe and proper age, I pioneered off into the big corporate world and to go see what the big city life was about. Had a great housing career there. Worked with a few folks during the big building booms. Had a great exposure, fun time. But I tell you, it was the fundamentals that I had developed and learned from mountain life. It was one thing, go out there and build a home, but us folks in the hills, we learn how to build on slopes. We learn what bulldozers and rock and all those types of things are about. So I brought some skills that really enhanced my career. So
you did a development in Copperopolis. It was La Cobra Mina?
La Cobra Mina, Spanish for the copper mine.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a small snake.
Big snake in India, but it was a big deal. Very successful. That was we're quite proud of that. That was an example of folks meant well, but it was initiated by an out of the area, more big city folks come on in with a lot of resources, a lot of money, and they didn't pan out very well. So the project hit some resistance, and quite frankly, from a business perspective, there were some nice homes and good people, but the business perspective failed, crashed, and burned. Our family was in the right position. We kept our eye on it, and eventually we decided to step in, take some ownership and responsibility, purchased up a lot of the vacant lots, and re-entitled, redeveloped the back half, and very proud of the end result. It's a beautiful community, and a lot of happy neighbors have moved in.
Yeah, so it is. Well. I go by it every day, and it's a beautiful place.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things we want to talk about is the Copperopolis area.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with that. And of course, this is what this is all about.
First, isn't that one of the neatest names you ever heard? It's like grabbing a 1950s Superman comic book and plucking it out of the metropolis of Copperopolis in the wild can-do west of California. It's such a neat, gritty history to it.
It's hard to pronounce.
Oh, just add a few more P's, O's, and C's, and you'll get it close. We'll know what you're talking about. No, I love it. And then you got that little song, that one-word song singing in your head for the rest of the day, Copperopolis. But each time it gives you a kind of a fun little smile on your face. No, I call it a big neighborhood. Big neighborhood with a gritty historical past to it. It's the type of neighborhood that people refer to when they were a kid growing up, or when they had to go hike to school uphill and downhill in both directions, although we're pretty flat. Copperopolis still has a lot of that feel to it versus a lot of the areas in California that people have left to come back to this type of community. It's we're located, it's what I like to call an easy access community. Right there on a Burns Ferry Road. We're right between the lakes, New Maloney's and Lake Tolek. It's got a nice little lakeshore drive feel to it. And we have this guilty pleasure of being above the fog and below the snow line.
Yeah,
so
true.
when you're there talking to your buddies and friends, whether they're uphill or downhill of you, and they're talking about the fogged-in conditions or the heavy snowstorm or whatever, and you got this guilty look on your face that you see blue sky and you're out there swinging the golf clubs. So Copperopolis is kind of a neat little location, but as far as accessibility, Sandwiched there between the two lakes, Burns Ferry Road, just south of Highway 4, and then just north of Highway 108. So if you're a family wanting to head to the Sacramento area or the immediate Central Valley, the Stockton, Modesto, Oakdale areas, or just up the hill to our neighbors in Tuolumne, up Jamestown, Sonora, we get a lot of people coming from out of town making the Yosemite venture. They're making the loop. They might be looking for a little bit more of a tamed route than the Highway 49 that we enjoy up the hill. Nice little clean cutoff. So as far as accessibility, it gives a lot of exposure, and that's why we have more of a big neighborhood feel. A lot of commuters that still have a Valley Central job, or they're working up one of the corridors. It's worked out really well for a lot of families.
One of the things that people are concerned about is the amount of regulations on building, and some people are leaving the state because it's impossible to make sense of it all.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough. A lot of that has been our political undoing. A lot of well-intended roadblocks that get put in place that become quite costly. There was a time where we can raise building standards or we can make some adjustments, and there was what you call a return on investment.
Right.
The type of insulation, type of windows, things of this nature, and you could count it in your checkbook. You could see a little bit money here, and the long-term savings was quite incredible. Those days are long gone. It's become, we're making these adjustments to appeal to some political direction or whim of the day. Every year we send our state legislatures folks up to Sacramento, and they're there looking at new statutes, new laws. They're rewriting laws from last year, and they're planning to rewrite the laws that they did 4 years ago, planning to readjust those next year. And then all those new regulations get digested, and then they get filtered through their unelected staff members, and they're trying to determine what the law is, and they're looking at the letter of the law and trying to figure out what the intent was, and then that gets passed on into the local governments, the counties and cities. And then our folks are having to determine how do they comply. We want to be good state citizens, and we have these real significant roadblocks that we package it up and we send our compliance into the state bureaucracy is reviewing it. And mind you that half these things wind up getting reviewed by the judge 4 or 5 years later when we're trying to rewrite the laws again. The real hurdle that we get is the population centers have literally it's a mob vote when you compare that to the humble rural areas. And they're writing these laws for the Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Sacramento urban centers, and a lot of times they don't truly apply to the rural areas.
I understand that they're requiring commercial fire extinguishers, and there's been so much improvement in fighting fires without having damage with the halon. And there's no forward progress on that. And I'm told by some people in the industry that a lot of this has to do with the unions and their lobbying of the state government, where they don't want to, they want to have the fire extinguishers put in.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversial requirements that get, like I said, it was sometimes they become politically influenced. Well, the sprinklers have if they save a life, they've done their job. It's the item that we put in homes that we pray are never, ever, ever used. They will not put out the fire in the countryside around your home. They're designed to provide some escape time. And if you ever do have to use it, you're going to wind up rebuilding a huge percentage of your house.
Plus all the furniture.
The furniture. But it's that caveat, did it save that one life? And are there better systems, more practicalities, and some of the requirements? You're right, there were a lot of special interest influences on that, especially when we have a communities such as Calaveras with the freezing climate zones and how we treat it. Our building department locally has worked real hard trying to make it an effective process here, but it's debatable. Are we getting the value out of it that we should be getting out of? And it's ongoing debate.
The cost makes it not feasible to build a home.
And that's a lightweight item compared to a lot of it's the death by 1,000 cuts, like I said.
And that's one cut.
And that's one cut. So there's a lot of opinions out there, and it's the impact to the entire ecosystem, and I'm referring to the economical system that affects the human system,
Right.
Manufacturing, supply lines, producing your efficiency on each thermal unit that you use, and it becomes it's a challenge. Cost effectiveness is the government housing solutions, which are taxpayer funded. Government housing solutions have gone more in the direction of offsetting the high costs that they help to introduce,
Right.
versus driving the costs down to where they should be.
Through subsidy, which means they're taking it from the taxpayer.
Right. There's some good, like I said, well-intended programs, but by the time they get filtered through, and our taxpayers locally have already been paying for it for years.
Right.
They're getting spent elsewhere. We've got some good people in the county who are working to try to keep those returning back home here to Calaveras, but it's a challenge. How do you bring those dollars back home without getting caught in the state web of...
It's kind of like a balance between government-provided services and then the individual rights to life, liberty, and property. Now, life, liberty, and property is in the Constitution, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's in the Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment, and by not only defining human rights, it also establishes purpose of government. Mm-hmm. So, since it's a requirement that government respect rights to life, liberty, and property. Well, that alone will, if government can do some of that, it would help.
Right. Well, let's see. Supporting the intent of health and safety guidelines, but the political agenda parts of it, they got to go. We're killing off our neighborhoods.
Yeah. A good example of government doing something right is the first responders. They're supporting the rights to life, liberty, and property. They're very plain. Also, military. They're protecting us from enemies that would take away our rights to life, liberty, and property.
That's right.
So government gets into trouble, but is not necessarily doing everything wrong.
Private sector needs to do private sector work. Government needs to focus on government-specific work.
One of the topics we have is the Copperopolis Area Business Association, which is CABA, and kind of excited about that. You're a director, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And you got some ideas on that. Plus, we're going to provide the schedule of events coming up. That'll be very helpful to our audience that mark their calendar. Remember now, I told you to have your pen. Okay, so now on CABA, we want to talk about some of the future plans.
Sure.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Well, a little bit about CABA and who it is and what it is. Copperopolis Area Business Association.
Right.
It's really trying to have that voice for the community. Talked about the population centers creating agenda items that our local leadership in the counties and cities need to adhere to, at least the intent of what those are made. How do we have a voice? How do we communicate? A lot of times folks feel that there's an uphill battle, you can't fight City Hall. But the part I beg to differ with that is being in an area, in a rural area, with our local counties, our local leadership is our neighbors, and they're impacted by the same issues. And the folks who are working in our government sectors are also being impacted by it. And the accessibility that we have to their ears, and their eyes, and their minds, and their hearts, their kids are going to the same place, the schools that our kids are going to. So the ability to have communication and dialogue is actually more effective than I believe than the big city centers are from a local perspective.
Also developing a sense of gratitude.
Yeah.
Without a sense of gratitude, it's very hard to succeed in this world.
We're still a small local pond in Calaveras and Tuolumne County areas.
We could have some good fish in the pond.
We do it, and we know where the fishing holes are at. So having that voice, the ability to attend and access different agency meetings and communicate, well, Copperopolis Area Business Association is one of those entities where you're helping to pool your neighborhood voice.
Right.
And it's not just the off-track social media thing that maybe somebody reads your little quip there. It's where folks can get together, help to pool their voice, and communicate with other related groups. We've got a lot of good entities up in this area, and we're able to communicate with our leaders. And they'll be more apt to be able to listen. Because like I said, they're our neighbors. So CABA's one of those key areas with our focuses on this Copperopolis greater area. And folks are doing business here, living here, and driving on through. So I've enjoyed my participation with them quite a bit over the few years.
One of the things that is being considered is developing a database of all businesses in the county, not just CABA members, and then be able to communicate with them through email, maybe once a month, and then have things that are of interest, that are very topical, that they'd be interested in getting these little news flashes.
It's the art of communication. When your neighbor next door, you can lean over the fence, but if you're a few blocks down, we got to incorporate these other methods.
Yeah.
We've got some neat events coming up here in the near future. One that's very topical to the community in general is helping to support Firewise.
Yeah.
That's a get-together meeting that we have coming up on August 28th at the Armory. That's a real good one. On the new housing sector, we have the enjoyment of building to WUI, Wildland Urban Interface Standards. The type of windows we use, the resiliency of the siding materials, the roofing, the ventilation system. We've been building our homes ready for wildland fires for quite some time. It's our built-in building codes. It's how we operate. Well, now how do we treat all the existing neighbors and the existing housing and the different communities? Firewise is an excellent opportunity for folks to get an eye-opener and help them understand the little adjustments that they can make. They're not going to be able to put the amount of money in that we do on the new home, but they can make a lot of good sweat equity efforts to really defend their home and their family and their investments. We're going to have some good people at this event coming on up. Fire agencies, representation, different people giving their personal experiences and maybe pulling together some resources. So you get a whole block where they're contacting folks to come out there with the weed eaters, and it's a help your neighbor. Maybe there's some folks who need assistance with some things, and other folks maybe they just need access to their backyard. But it's another great place for dialogue.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. It's a good one. It's going to be at the Armory on the 28th. So everybody's invited.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
We've got some more coming up after that. We're looking at a small business presentation and show for the community. That's going to be coming up here later on in November. We're still putting together the pieces. And then
What date?
That's still coming up, and we're going to plug our website address. So we want to get people to log into, and that way they can get the events after that. And how do we start communicating to them? So
Okay, now website is?
It is
CABAstrong.org.
CABAstrong.org.
Now, did you write that down? Good.
Everybody's welcome to check us out on that. Please add your name for distribution communication. We'll get you added to the communication list, and you always receive the invitations. We have a why should I join CABA event coming up, and really that's setting a groundwork for our business plan for 2026.
Oh yeah.
What interests you? What interests our neighbors? What interests our community? What would you like to see? You want to have a voice? Now's your time to participate.
It could be like a questionnaire, and the questionnaire can go to the whole business community.
Absolutely.
And that would help develop more membership and more volunteers.
Activity, keeping it local, buying local, neighbors helping neighbors.
Yeah, that's cool. So, how do you join CABA?
Oh, real easy. Click on the website. We've got email contacts there. Get your name and information. Even if it's just getting your name on the list, that's the first start. Your ability to get engaged after that, this is a self-starter, neighborhood-friendly organization. Come on board, introduce yourself. You're welcome to attend our meetings, and we go from there. If you have a local business enterprise, we can help with promotions, advertising. It's all about building our community, building our local businesses, and improving our quality of life locally here.
And what is the cost to join?
We're under $50 for a year for our businesses.
Right.
Yeah, if you're an individual, you want to get on the list, that's free. As far as communication, keeping you part of the loop, we want to share our information with you.
So if I pay $50, then I get to be listed as a CABA business. You're
on the CABA business list. You're going to be incorporated into our systems, and you've got to vote. You've got to vote. That means something. It's a small pond, small neighborhood. Best part is you become part of the dialogue.
Right.
What do you want from your membership? That's on you.
That's good. We have 5 minutes remaining, and what would be the most important thing of all the things that we talked about that would be a takeaway for this show?
It's the opportunity for engagement. This is a small local neighborhood community. I lean a lot on the housing sector. I've been very proud of Calaveras County for many decades, built some of my first homes here. Calaveras has retained a neighborhood-friendly atmosphere to it. There's a lot of communities that frankly have abandoned that. In our Copperopolis area, we've got a very wide spectrum from the aspirational home that you've always dreamed of, and the yard that you've always dreamed of, and place to run your dog. And we've got and we have the abilities for these startup families looking to scratch out their first sweat equity, build their investment, build their portfolio as far as housing. There's never enough of it. We've got lots of opportunities out there to expand and to grow, and we haven't even made a dent on what we could do in Copperopolis. We've got great transportation, great people, and there's really that golden opportunity, just like when they named this Copperopolis and they envisioned this metropolis type of growth potential. Will never be the high-rise big city type of thing. It just won't work here, but there's opportunity.
Well, we had a copper mine here, and we provided quite a bit of copper for during the Civil War, and and maybe because of all this copper, we're not speaking with a southern drawl right now.
We all.
Well, Mike, so good to have you as our guest.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching Taxpayer Alert. See you next time.